Hello, and welcome to James the Lesser's Express Lane Reviews, where we get you in and out as fast as possible. Today we will be reviewing the 10 best video games I've ever played. I haven't played every game, your taste may vary from mine, but for me, these are the 10 best games ever. Starting with number 10, the Batam Franchise. During the off-season, need a football fix, this is it. And let's say you just led your team to the Super Bowl 3 years in a row. You're a little bored. What do? Become the owner. But don't play the games. What you'll do is trade, draft, free agency, and see if you, as the owner, can't get your team to the Super Bowl. It can be a little frustrating at first, especially if you're a fan of a weaker team, but it's a fun little thing to try. See if you can get your team to the Super Bowl in, say, 10 years or fewer. For me, it usually takes around 4 or 5. But I know not everyone's a football fan, which is why this is only number 10, which helps us move on to number 9, The Elder Scrolls Skyrim. Skyrim is a huge, massive game. If you're already a video gamer, you've probably already played this to death. But what I love about it most is, yeah, sure, the main storyline takes maybe 20 hours, but I and most people ignore that and do everything else. So you have 100 hours in, it's like, oh, I was supposed to kill a dragon, wasn't I? I think so. I'm gonna keep going on with this quest or that quest. It's a big game, the DLC is also huge, and with the Legendary Edition, it looks pretty, has most of the bugs fixed, and if you're on PC, you can always mod it, which I highly recommend. This moves us on to number 8, SimCity series. Some might say The Sims is better, but no SimCity, no Sims. SimCity, since its inception, I've been playing it. The newest one was a bit of a letdown with the DRM, always online thing. So I just went back to the previous generation and just played the crap out of that. Not everyone's a big fan of, making a city, or if you're doing The Sims, just running a household, but for many, this is a huge part of their life. And really, there'd be probably, alright, there might be other sim games out there, but without the SimCity, no Sims, no other sim generator games. Just a huge, important part of video game history is SimCity. And now, for history, we move on to 7, Pokemon. Been around for over 20 years. Starting off with Generation 1, like I did, red, blue, and then eventually yellow, moving all the way up to Sun and Moon. Went from black and white 2D to 3D popping out at you in bright colors. We went from 150 to, 650? For many people, their first introduction was really Pokemon Go, the mobile game, but for others, this game has been a part of their life, whether it's the game, TV show, movies, just over 20 years of life breathed into video gaming. And now, on to number 6, the HalfLife series. There might be better first-person shooters out there that do this better or do that better. And of course, the last game came out years ago, sadly. But for me, the first Half-Life game was amazing, especially for its time. Then when Half-Life 2 came out, it was ahead of its competition, just like Half-Life 1 was. And they had Episode 1 and Episode 2, and this led on to Portal and the Orange Box, which, if you want to check out Half-Life 2, get the Orange Box. Gives you 2, Episode 1, and Portal. But not everyone's a first-person shooter fan, and they might prefer Doom or Fallout, something like that better, but for me, Half-Life series is the first-person shooter series. On to number 5, Final Fantasy VII. Without Final Fantasy VII, I never would have played 8, 9, 10, 10-2, 13, so forth. I played on the Nintendo, and it was cool, but I didn't think much of it. Then a friend said, check out Final Fantasy VII, and I did, and I've never looked back since. Final Fantasy VII is the best, and even better, it's getting a remake. So if you haven't even thought about trying it, wait for the remake. It should blow your mind. Number 4 will be, talking about history, Super Mario Bros. 3. Yes, without 1 and 2, there would be no 3. But 3 is where I feel they hit all the points that would become Mario. Just without 3, hard to explain, right? Of course, there's a lot of nostalgia added to it, but Super Mario Bros. 3 is just where they hit everything right. So if you get a chance, find an emulator or something, check it out. On to number 3, Witcher 3. I hadn't played the previous 2, but Witcher 3 looks really cool. Got it, and glad I did. Like Skyrim, it's a huge open world where, sure, the main quest takes 20 hours, but you tend to ignore that and put 100 hours into everything else. And then DLC came out, making it even bigger and better. Definitely get this game. It's on PS4, Xbox One, and Steam. Amazing game. Moving on to number 2, you have the Diablo series. Some people might find this to be a bit surprising, but for me, Diablo series has been a part of my life for decades, especially Diablo 2. I've literally played it every single year since it came out, even 2017. I just love Diablo 2 that much. And Diablo 3, well, maybe not as good as Diablo 2, is still great. My friends and I played the crap out of it on the PS3, and on the PS4, it's even better. Moving on to number 1, Life is Strange. A lot of people may not realize this, but Life is Strange is amazing. They might look at the art style and go, yeah, or they might hear the synopsis and go, yeah. But for me, following Max, her friend Chloe, and the game mechanics, the storyline, people might complain that, oh, at the end it's just about choice A or choice B, but the only reason you would choose A or B is the choices you made previously. Yes, at the end, all your choices only matter, as far as, you made them. It all comes down to A or B, but the reason you would choose A or choose B is because of the choices you made previously. And right now, in the month of June 2017, it's free for the PlayStation 4 if you're a PlayStation Plus subscriber. So definitely check it out. And as always, hit the like, subscribe, comment down below, and have a wonderful day.